guys, back for a little update. This week we're going to be talking about the A9X Torana. We did advertise it and it is sold. It's gone off to a really good home. It's stayed in Adelaide. That'll be one of the first things we'll be talking about in this video. We've also got a few updates that have been happening and jobs that have been happening since the last videos taken place. So we'll talk through them. But first things first, the A9X project. So if you're not familiar, over the last probably year, across 8 months, we started off with this Torana, which was a bit of a barn find, which got people a bit trigger happy and a bit upset about the whole barn find thing. But anyway, we picked up that LX Torana that you would have seen. If you haven't, it was a green LX 4-door sedan with a 355 Holden. And over the course of those 8 months, we stripped it back to a bare shell. We filled in the sunroof. We gave it a new paint job, filled out the interior with all new trim, engine bay, so on and so forth. And we gave it a bit of a birthday and it turned out $1 million. But one of the problems with having cars and not enough storage is you do run out of space. And with working in the shed, you know, we've tend to get the car started up and move it out each day while you're cutting and grinding. But the car wasn't really being used. So the decision was made to advertise it, and we put it on Marketplace, and 2 days later, the car's sold. It was one of the easiest sales. I believe good cars still always sell no matter what the market is like, as the market can be up and down, and I feel like it's a little bit down at the moment. So we were a little bit skeptical into seeing if, or knowing if the car would sell. So we put it up, and sure enough, it's gone off to a home up in the Adelaide Hills. It was quite a really good story. So the young fella showed up with his little brother to look at the car, and I thought straight away, he's probably not gonna buy the car. He was only 19, but he inspected the car, had a good look at it. He knew what he was looking for, and he was buying the car to surprise his dad. So I think a number of years ago, his dad had a Torana, much the same, spent a fortune on it, and as the older story goes, he had to sell it, and he started up a family and his own business and things like that. So all these years later, he's repaying him back kind of thing as a thanks. So the family's forked out and got him this beautiful LX Torana, which we've spent a lot of time and effort into building, you know, rubbing it down. There's a lot of work that goes into these cars. People think that you just rub them back and you give them a quick flick of paint and they're all finished. So a lot of effort went into that one. It turned out really good. We went to the effort of, zinc plating all the bolts again and making sure that everything was 100%. The car, since being finished, probably would have been lucky to have done 2,000 Ks, so it wasn't being used a whole lot. Mum was driving the car. They even put the baby seats in the back, and we're taking the grandkids around for cruises and just taking it out, going along the Esplanade and things like that. But now that it's off to a new home, when it left, I actually said to the Cohen, I think his name was, that bought the car, if you get the chance, get a bit of footage of your dad when you surprise him with the Torana, as I would love to see his reaction. And I'll throw a bit of footage in here as his dad sees the Torana for the first time.
What the hell?
Yeah. No, come have a look. No, it's actually there. Come have a look.
You guys are nuts.
Yeah.
So as you can see, some really good footage there. Towards the end, the dad starts to get a bit emotional as he realizes what's in front of him and what he's got now to enjoy for himself. You can just hope now that they can get in that car with the family, flick the key and go for a lovely Sunday cruise and just enjoy the car for what we built it for, as it was a really reliable combination and just a well put together combo. So off to them guys. Hopefully we can see them out on the road or on some cruises sometime soon in Adelaide, and catch up with them somewhere along the way. So over the past week or two recently, we've been getting stuck into Lisa's Mazda. So we'll have an update for that probably in an upcoming separate video, as we've got into doing the intercooler and a few other jobs on the car. But that's starting to take shape for the turbo conversion. This week we've also got Phil's VN SV 5000. Just been doing a few mechanical things on this one, little bits of TLC. It's come in just for some love and yeah, just a good general tidy up. The heater core was split, so we've just currently finished doing that. Dash out job, pretty in-depth, crappy job, not something that I would normally advertise to do, but that's almost finished, going back together. We'll get that finished up. Got some little odd jobs here and there, so I think it's got a leaky tail light. We're just going to upgrade the front headlights, as they are like candles, and just go around the car, give it a good bit of love. We'll throw it up on the hoist, check it for leaks, and just make sure that it's all mechanically sound and ready for summer cruising as well. Now, before this car here next to me came in, we had Simon's VL come in for an engine bay, similar to this one, but a lot more in depth. So we boxed the chassis rails and we went to town on filling up pretty much every single hole in the engine bay that you could. I'll throw in some footage like here, and we sanded back the firewall lip, battery trays gone, power steering reservoir, any sort of clips, holes, plugs, all gone. So that was quite in depth. That car might be here again later on in the year, or at some other stage for some more fab work. He was really easy to deal with, and the car turned out $1 million. So it's off to the panel shop now. They're going to get stuck into doing all the paint work, which is something that I don't really want to continue doing for others or customers, especially when I'm cutting and grinding and not really set up with a spray booth. So that was all good. Finished off all the metal work now, so it's ready for the primer and all the filler work, and that turned out $1 million as he gets ready to stick in a new, I think he's putting a 3.2 litre Nitto single cam RB combination into that. This car here is pretty much ready to be picked up this afternoon. It's all finished. We just spent the last few days mainly setting up the radiator. That's what it came for. So he's purchased these race radiators from Victoria, and it's a VS style, so the bottom tank on an early Commodore, especially VC, if you look at the bottom outlet on a VC, it doesn't normally go all the way to the bottom. So what we've had to do is cut out the lower radiator support that these cars have from factory and modify that, as the outlet lugs on the bottom that mount the radiator are now further spaced out. So we've done a tubular cross member there for that. I'll throw in a heap of footage that I've done from during the week, as I didn't video much while I was doing it. And you can see that underneath we've even managed to fit that factory pan. We've nut-serted it. Similar to the last one, but not as in depth, as this one's just like a mild engine bay. We didn't box the rails, but we've gone ahead and filled up all the old unused holes that aren't being used anymore, and basically the same thing as the other car. So this can go off to the panel shop and get spray painted as well, and he's dropping an LS2 into this, so it should be a pretty healthy 6 litre LS, and it's engineered for the street, so it should be a pretty fun package. Also in the midst of doing a bit of a shed cleanup, so I want to knock away this old shed paint on the floor that you can see. I don't know if I'll try and get a close up, but this was done about 20 years ago, and it's starting to show signs now of lifting, and it didn't really stick that great. But I'm also just giving the shed walls a quick paint. I'm going to go across and try and fill in that extra panel that was never done with some more wood. giving everything a fresh coat of paint, is just so it can be a little bit more brighter in here, as when I'm working on the cars, especially in winter, it is quite dark in here. So you'd think having a Sparky brother that it'd be nice and bright and all the lights and every switch in the world. Getting him up here is another thing, so we've got to really twist his arm and get that happening. I've just got some lights this morning from Bunnings to help with the lighting in here, as I want to try and dedicate this area to maybe just some fab and spray painting little jobs. I know I said I don't want to do much painting, but if I can, you know, put up a little petition here with the tarp, it comes in quite handy and I can keep that area warm. In summer, it's perfect because the aircon unit's right there. It's just an evaporative unit, but it works really well. So I might dedicate this area here in this bay to fabrication. I can use my bead roller, my folder and things like that. So we're currently doing that. I want to get this paint on the floor, you know, knocked out. If anyone's done it before, let me know in the comments how you've gone about it. I was thinking about getting a diamond blade sander. Not sure if it's the best option, or do I just throw down some paint stripper and peel it all up? I don't want to be here, you know, all weekend sanding this floor, as you know, it's a decent sized shed, and I wanted to stick to maybe doing these 3 sections of concrete first, pretty much like one standard bay that you can fit a car. But if I can get this all cleaned up and a fresh coat of paint, I think it'll look $1 million and just lifts that stand a little bit, and it's nice and clean. So while we're over here, we'll also run you through this turbo comp cover and plenum that we're about to knock up for James from Pulsar Turbo. This next job here is one of those little love jobs that you just love to take on, but this one here, I won't say too much because I don't know if he's told the world about what he's about to do, but the car's going to be going on display somewhere pretty special. So he's pulled the plenum off and the turbo, as he damaged the plenum a little bit doing some work on it because he's just a bit clumsy, and if you know what he's like, he's just, yeah, no good with tools in his hand. But anyway, we're flicking this thing up, we're going to give it a bit of bling, and same with the turbo compressor housing. So if you're not familiar, this is a Pulsar turbo comp cover off of a turbo. So my job is going to be smoothing this out completely. Luckily for me, this turbo housing is pretty smooth from the factory. The way it's cast is really good. I'm just going to be getting rid of the AR and the 0.85, and then I'm going to leave the PSR. This car is going to be on display somewhere, and we're going to utilize the PSR colors. So this will be getting painted silver, and then we're going to be coloring this the PSR colors and then clear coating it. We've also got the Plasma Man Pro Series plenum off of his Barra. So this is all off of his Valiant Ute. I'm just in the midst of cleaning up all the areas around here that were really rough. I started off by giving a quick degreaser on the front lawn, getting rid of all the muck, oil, grease, and just cleaning it up. So I'm just going to go ahead now, and I removed all the imperfections that I could find. There was a couple of bad scratches in the plenum. I've circled them, gone across it all, and circled them out just quickly. I'll just hit that with a orbital sander really quickly. I will say, if you know, I'm not the biggest fan of using an orbital sander on things. It's definitely got its place. So I wouldn't go, you know, I kind of cringe when I see people sanding back color on cars with orbital sanders and, you know, Trizac discs or things like that and trying to get them straight. It just doesn't work as good, you know. If you want to get something flat, do it old school, do it by hand. On something like this, it's fine. Don't go attacking any square or sharp edges, especially things like that. But this had like a, you know, it looked like it arced out a terminal or something off of the alternator, I'm not sure, at the front, kind of like an, you know, a bad earth, and then some deep scratches luckily along the bottom of the plenum. So we'll get into, you know, I've sanded them out, and then that'll just be getting hit with a primer, as this area mainly pretty much from the weld this way is all going to be 2-pack silver, the same as the comp cover. And then everything forward of that, which is billet, I'm just going to polish all that up by hand, give that a quick hand polish. I've just gone along and removed all the oxidization marks with the buff, and that should come up in $1 million. I don't really want to go doing that after I've painted it. So sliding this around and flipping it over, it's just going to mark the paint. So this is a really good unit from Plasma Man. It's normally pretty raw as you see it like this, but once you've worked on it a few times, they do get, you know, scratched and marked and dented. So once it's painted in a 2-pack silver, it might be a bit more user friendly, and you can just go across it with a cloth, give it a quick wipe along with the comp cover. But yeah, we're gonna get stuck into that now. I wanna finish that by tomorrow. Hopefully, probably by the time this video comes out, it's all done. and we'll throw up some pictures on the Evans Racing Facebook page or something like that, and keep you all updated with that. But for now, thank you all for watching, tuning in. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, and let us know what you think about everything we're doing, and we'll see you all on the next one. Cheers guys, see ya.